don't mean the man was automatically a pedophile.
The fact that he went running, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a pedophile.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mother Knows Best Sometimes. I'm Charlie here with my mom, Patty.
Hello.
And I'm Mindy here with my mom, Denise.
Hello.
Wow, we got both of the moms to say hello this time.
Yeah, that's a step up. Oh, how many? It only took, 4 or 5 podcasts?
Yeah,
I
that's the first
know.
time. Y'all usually
Amazing.
We're
silent.
finally normal.
So today we're going to talk about like safety tips and safety stories, or maybe not safety stories, but stories that provide lessons on safety. And I think just to start us off, I want to share a tip that my mom shared with me when I was 8 years old. And she told me, now, Charlie, you got to change your schedule up every day because somebody could be following you and trying to memorize your schedule. And they are lurking and hiding, waiting to jump out to catch you off guard because they know your whole schedule. So you have to change your schedule up every day. And I'm 8. I'm like, Mom, you make my schedule. Like, you drive. I don't do anything without you. And so sometimes when I feel like my schedule's a little too regular, I'm like, yeah, let me change something up a little bit. Somebody might be lurking.
Lurking. That's a
It
word.
wasn't a lesson for the 8-year-old Charlie. It was a lesson for the 27-year-old Charlie.
I will say every apartment I've lived in, I will not even know people's names, but I know the car they drive. I know what days they work from home, what days just because I notice it. I'm not trying to be creepy, but Nate will say something. I'll be like, oh, that's so-and-so on the 3rd floor. That's their car right there. They use that cover or whatever. And he's like, what? I'm like, I don't know. I just notice it. And
You
most
should've
people
been a
are not changing
detective.
their schedules up.
Yeah. You should have been a detective.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
I do that. I don't know if it's I don't actually know if it's because anything you've told me, but when I'm running, no, you've mentioned when walking or running, because my mom would walk around our neighborhood and she would say she changes up her path that she takes. So whenever I run, I have no path. I'm random. I'll turn on a street, go down a different street. I never run the same path twice.
But I change mine up because I don't want to tell people hello. And once they get used to me, once I get into a routine and then suddenly people's talking to me or saying hi, changing it. I don't want to say hi. I'm on a mission. Leave me alone. So
You never know when you're going to meet another Willie.
So maybe hers wasn't safety tips. It was
maybe
avoid everyone.
Mental safety, though.
But no, I do think of her. She should never be, but that she has I had a different reason for her changing it up. I change it up, to be unfriendly. I want her to change it up because, she's too pretty to be out there running the same route with all of these freaks in the neighborhood.
Got a lot of freaks in the neighborhood, huh?
You hear that, freaks?
So who has stories? Either do you have tips that you want to share with us or the listeners, or do you have stories? Anybody? Stories?
Well, you know my story if you make sure you always lock your door. Because we got that.
We got that one.
Always lock your doors, always. And it's funny because my mom always locks the door in the house, and I don't feel the same way about the house.
Oh.
And it irritates me because I swear we'll walk in and 10 seconds later she's got the door locked on us. And but I don't feel it, but nothing ever happened to me in the house.
Right.
But in the car, it's like, oh, always lock your doors, always lock your doors.
Yeah.
So it should be house too. I'm 57 and she's 27. Now lock the doors.
Well, because people can just walk in.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was how old was I? 11 or something. I used to sleepwalk, aggressively sleepwalk. I would open the door, unlock the door, and go outside and everything. And one night, I, for some reason, had I sleptwalk. I unlocked our side. We had a side door, and I unlocked the side door. I went outside. I don't remember this part. And I knew I went all the way to the front porch because there were those mother-in-law tongues. Is that what they're called? Those plants.
What is that?
The plant.
That can't be right. Can't be right. Mother-in-law tongues.
Aren't they?
It can't, it's
That's just the street name, you know, the slang.
Wait, let me
Mother-in-law
look it up.
tongues.
Mother-in-law
Let me
tongue.
look it up too, so my mom
Yeah.
can see a picture.
I'm gonna share my screen and people can.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, perfect.
So, Mom, is this it?
Yes, uh-huh.
Oh,
Oh, that looks
That's
like
it.
Oh,
Snake
okay.
plant.
But you see the real high ones? We had the real high one on the porch. It was, you know, like
Oh,
Didn't
foot
it
and a
kind of have a
half.
pinkish? Don't they
Uh,
sometimes have a pinkish?
Some variations do, just like kind of like a outline of pink.
Maybe the tongue one did.
oh, I've always heard it as snake plant, like how it says
Yeah.
or snake plant. That's what I've heard it called.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know.
That's
Mhm.
what Jeremy has one.
Okay.
Sansevieria, also known as mother-in-law tongue or snake plant.
Oh, okay. So you didn't.
Next time I go to Jeremy's, I'm like, oh, you got the mother-in-law tongue.
Yeah, I've
Maybe
never
like the
heard of
what?
that saying.
Jeremy is like, the what?
So I remember like vaguely seeing the mother-in-law tongue on the front porch. And then I guess I had come back inside the side door and laid back on the couch. And the only part of that I remember is seeing the mother-in-law tongue. And then I hear my mom go, Charlie? And I was like, what? Like I woke up and she was like, did you just go outside? And I was like, I think I did, because I had
Oh
seen,
my
the
goodness.
mother-in-law tongue. And so she was, nervous and got up. And as she passed the front door, she looked out the peephole. I don't know why you did that, to be honest. I guess because I had just been out there or something. And
I
there was
probably heard you out there.
well, you
or
looked
something.
after I was already inside. You
Oh.
stopped, looked at the people, and there was a man approaching the front door, the front porch. Mm-hmm.
Like to warn her
Yeah.
about you?
Or to kidnap her?
Yeah.
It was the middle of the night.
Yeah, it was like 3 a.m. My mom flicked the front porch light and he stopped walking, he froze, and then he ran off. And so then my mom called 911 and the police came out and like took a look around. But the door was locked. So he wouldn't have been able to come in easily. But I mean, just, he also could have been just walking by and saw a little girl outside.
Yes.
And was like, oh, let me like check this out. And
Not in a good way.
right. Well,
Yeah.
no. I don't think a grown man ever saying, let me check this out to an 11-year-old is
No,
ever
I
in a
mean,
good way.
check it out, meaning she don't belong outside. Let me,
Right.
Yeah,
find
let me
out where
help
she
her.
lives, get her
Yeah.
back in.
Yeah.
I don't mean the man was automatically a pedophile.
The fact that he went running though.
Yeah, he was a pedophile. He did go running. Yeah. The lights
Unless he thought the house was haunted because the lights were flashing.
If you're the man in this story, write in and tell us.
Yes.
What were your intentions?
Yeah.
We
I'm
want to hear
single.
your side of the story.
Are you really that afraid of a flashing light?
Did you hear that? She said, I'm
Mm-mm.
single.
He would be dead now, though, probably if he was little. You was little and he was an old man, but then, I
You
mean,
didn't say old man, did you?
well, I figure she's 11. He's a grown man. He out at 3 a.m.
You were a grown woman when we were 11.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh
So,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Was that the last time you sleepwalked or no? You still do?
No. After that, they started barricading the doors so that I couldn't get out. But I
Oh.
don't sleepwalk anymore.
Not that you
I-
couldn't get out, that you would make more noise and we could hear you.
Yeah.
Why? I never knew of a child that slept. Well, her daddy
I
did.
slept walk.
I don't remember you doing it. Really?
Yeah, remember I went get in bed with Pete one time.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He was
Charlie
"This is
would-
your mom's room."
I knew her daddy did. Her dad did.
My stepmom
Charlie-
does too.
Charlie did it for a long time. She would get out of bed and go sit on her daddy's lap. He'd be up late watching TV, sit on her lap, and she would just talk gibberish.
I would tell him jokes and like,
But he
Oh.
would say it wasn't really words coming out, but she was very
Thought it was her.
animated.
and
And
my
then-
eyes were rolled in the back of my head. It was just white.
Oh God. Oh man.
Not completely white, but you could see that, you
wasn't
had
there.
a funny look. Yeah. And then she'd finish saying whatever she had to say and she'd go back and get in bed. And the first time it happened, he was like, what
Oh,
just
yeah.
happened? That was weird. And then he started realizing, oh, she's sleepwalking.
Mindy, I didn't know you slept walk. Why
Oh.
were you so
I-
afraid of me when I spoke to you in my sleep?
Because I wasn't like a haunted
No.
sleepwalker. You are a scary sleep talker. Like you will sit up straight at the bed and like look towards the wall and just start speaking and then lay back down. Or you talk about a girl in the corner. You're creepy. You're not just like, oh, telling jokes. You're like, oh, what's that girl doing over there? And I'm like, what girl? The girl in the corner. Nope. Mm-mm.
Wait,
No.
so Mindy didn't sleep talk?
No, I don't remember her sleep talking. But don't get me wrong, I drink a lot, so she could have, and I forgot. But no, I don't think.
You don't drink as much as you make it seem like
No,
you do.
no, but back in the day,
Oh.
back in the day,
My childhood.
her childhood, yeah.
My stepmom sleptwalk one time, and I remember I was little, I was probably like 8 or something, and she had sleptwalk outside and like locked herself out of the house. And I remember like being like 8 years old and the doorbell thing was kind of by my door and she was ringing it repeatedly, like trying to get back in the house because it was the middle of the night, but I was terrified. So I just pulled the blanket up over my head and didn't go down to answer the door.
You're
So
like,
she
I've seen Scream. I'm not answering.
I was not answering that door.
Yeah,
So-
I slept one time and I can remember it. And then you know why? Because I had such a high fever. I had scarlet fever. So that's why. And like I knew Mindy might have talked in her sleep, but there was one time I remember her being really sick.
Oh, I remember
and she did-
hallucinating.
Yeah, because her fever was that high.
That's scary.
Yeah. But to normally, like
Did
I
she
don't
drink
remember.
milk.
Or eat seafood.
So yeah.
Okay, what are some other safety lessons?
I feel like I told y'all this story about the sleepwalking where I was house sitting. Didn't I say that? Tell y'all that already?
No.
I was
Mm-mm.
I feel like I just told that story. I was house sitting for somebody who went out of town. Somebody at work asked me to house sit. I was probably 20, probably y'all's age. Anyway, she had a lot of friends. Anyway, there was this one guy that really liked her. And but they were just friends. Anyway, he saw my car in the driveway. And it was pretty late. I had to be to work at like 6 o'clock. So I had to get up real early in the morning. So I was, I don't know if it was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, but I had been asleep for a while. And I woke up and I was sitting in a chair with this man sitting in the sofa across the room from me having a conversation. I woke up mid-conversation. I had gotten up,
My
let him in, and he sat down and had a conversation with me. And I woke up in the middle of it. When I finally realized what had happened, I was petrified. I was like, oh my gosh, this could have been,
Oh yes.
this could have been a monster. But luckily he was just kind of checking on her. He didn't know she was out of town, and he was wondering what that strange car was in the driveway, and he knocked on the door and I opened it and let him in.
And he did not know you were asleep.
I don't know what he knew. I didn't know until I woke up in the middle of the conversation. I don't even know what I said to the man.
Did you
I
let
have
on or
no
no?
idea.
You didn't.
I think I was really embarrassed. I think I was really scared too, because I was like, who is this man? What is going on?
So you didn't know
But
him?
no, I didn't. I knew about him, but I didn't know him.
You
I
never
knew
had met
about
him.
him. No, but I knew enough to know that was him, because I don't know if she had shown me pictures, or maybe I had met him, but I didn't know him. But he was literally, I was sitting on the chair. He was sitting on the sofa across the room, and we were having a conversation.
Do you think he could tell that like something switched and like, oh wait, she's acting different now?
I don't know, because Charlie's daddy, the very first time it happened with her, he didn't know what was going on. So if it was the very first time he ever saw that, maybe he didn't know what was going on. But I don't know of any other time that happened other than
Well-
that. But it really scared me that I would be capable of doing that in my sleep.
I feel like you do talk clearly when you are sleep talking, because 2 times I've only ever heard you sleep talk twice. One of them, I was in the living room, she was taking a nap. I just all of a sudden hear laughter. I mean, she is dying of laughter. And I'm like, I thought she was napping. I go in, she's asleep and she is dying laughing. I'm like, Mom, what is so funny? She's still asleep. She goes, Brad Paisley just called me on the phone. And like, I'm like, what? And then another time I was like laying in your bed and you were asleep and I'm like watching TV and you just went, bust a move, bust a move, bust a move. And it was very clear. Like I thought you were awake for both of these, but you were actually asleep. So I feel like when you sleep
Yeah.
talk, it seems very clear and like, you're not actually asleep.
Yeah.
I
That's
have
how
been
yours
told that
are.
I sleep talk, but I've never been told that I sleepwalk.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
the only time that I know of.
Yeah, good
It was
thing.
terrifying.
We don't want to hear bust a move again.
I do have a funny story about safety. And it involves a disguise. When I was in my summer after high school, my mom always wanted us in school. She was a teacher, so we always had to be in school. So if we didn't have a job when we graduated from high school, we had to go to summer school, either at Delgado or UNO. So I chose to go to Delgado and take some art classes. And I think maybe I took a English and a math class. I'm not really sure, but I remember the art class. Anyway, I would always drive through City Park because it was pretty and, it just was so nice. Anyway, one time I'm driving through City Park and I hear a gunshot and it's petrified me. Now, granted, I was just out of high school, so I was very young. Well, the first thing I thought of is, I wonder if they saw me and they think I'm a witness. The rest of the week, I wore a disguise to and from school so that they wouldn't recognize me. If they did think I saw them, but I didn't see them, I just heard them. And I remember being very, very serious about it. Now it's really funny, but then I was very, very serious, very, very serious. I wore a different disguise every day.
Like
Oh my
wig and everything, like
Wig, hat. I wore, I changed my mouth. I did everything. I did
Explains so much
everything.
about my mental well-being. Wait, Mindy,
So
do you
my
remember?
safety tip is always have a disguise ready.
Mindy, do you remember when we thought we heard a gunshot?
in Boston.
Yes.
Yes, and we realized very quickly we have no survival skills whatsoever.
Y'all didn't hit the ground or nothing?
No,
Almost.
we're like sitting at a bus stop and I swear it sounded like a gunshot and we just kind of like I don't even know, like yeah. We're just like flailing around, like kind of standing, not sure if we should take off running, not sure if we should stay sitting, and like kind of we were scanning too and nobody else was reacting.
Oh, really? Well, see, they're wrong because we had to take a class, and it's good that y'all instantly thought gunshot because most people will always try to rationalize it and say, oh, it was a firework, or oh, it was a car backfiring, which is always that's if you go with the gunshot, that is the safest. So y'all did good, even though y'all didn't move.
We got to step one.
Y'all still got, y'all initially thought gunshot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was a car backfiring.
It was.
Oh, it was?
It was a car backfire.
But y'all were the only two that moved.
Oh yeah,
No,
nobody.
there was a woman that was walking on the crosswalk and she thought it was a gunshot too because she started yelling, "I'm not afraid of you. Come for me. I'm not afraid of you." Mhm. And I was like, see, that's the survival skill I need.
No, if anything, you should have hit the ground or, or run. I think
we were close. We were close too.
Hide is no longer one of the things. There used to be four things. Hide is no longer one. Never hide, because if you hide and they find you, you're instantly dead.
Trapped.
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one
Wow.
of the first thing is people always try to rationalize the noise. Oh, it was a firework, or it was a,
That's a good tip. Just listen to your instincts.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
honestly, so what if they're wrong sometimes? Like, yeah, we thought we heard a gunshot and we ran. Okay. It might not have been a gunshot. What do we do? Embarrass ourselves? At least we didn't die.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Yeah.
One of my safety things that I do, I don't think my mom ever told me this. It's just like something I learned. So yeah, when I'm driving, I like pay attention to see if anyone's following me, especially when I start getting close to home. Like if there's a car, even if they're not following me, but there's a car behind me, I will literally drive on different streets until like they go a different direction. And then I'll go home like when there's no one behind me, because I've gotten followed multiple times to where like I've had to, there was this one story with Kayla. Of course, Kayla, my great friend that gets me into sketchy situations sometimes, was kind of flirting with this guy outside of Oakwood Mall, and like from a distance, he was across the parking lot or something. I don't even know what she said to him, but we were in high school and I'm like the one driving and she gets in the car and we're leaving and he starts following us and I'm like, okay, he's just going the same direction. Like he's not following us. And then we turn into the neighborhood we're going in. He turns in the neighborhood and I'm like, okay. So I drive past the house because I'm definitely not going home, and still driving in the neighborhood. He's still following. And so I'm just like circling around in the neighborhood until we got to a street that was like blocked off for some reason. They were doing construction. So I like whipped the car into somebody's front lawn to like get away and go in a direction that he couldn't go.
So she really didn't want to talk to him.
No, she just, you know,
Okay.
Kayla, she talks to people, but then
Yeah.
the people go further.
Oh yeah.
Did you ruin their yard?
I didn't even look to see. I didn't like peel out, but you know, like it was my safety or their front lawn.
Yeah. I've never been
my-
followed. Have any of y'all ever been followed?
I've been followed.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have? No, I've
Yeah.
never been followed.
Did you know you were being followed at first?
Well, I don't know. It's possible with my personality. I always thought somebody was following me because I always, looking over my shoulder.
Oh yeah, no.
So
I've been
I
followed
mean, I
3
was,
times that I
Three?
remember that I knew of. Yeah. And then one time I pulled behind a dumpster and waited, turned the headlights off and waited for them to pass. And then I backed up and went the other way. And then the other time we just like lost them. They were very young guys. So it wasn't as
it probably 3 times for me too.
Oh,
I
good.
didn't know about this.
Yeah. Once one guy followed me all the way to work. I was working at Joe Brown Park in New Orleans East. And thank goodness Uncle Bert was there when I got there. And I ran in and told Uncle Bert, and he went out, and I don't know what happened, but the guy left.
He had words with him.
I don't know. He
had
didn't
words.
tell me, and I didn't ask him. I
You
just
don't
remember being
speak to
afraid.
somebody who in that situation you have words.
Oh.
And what are the other times?
I remember walking down the street. I don't know where I was going. I don't know if I was going to a friend's house or what, and a carload of guys passed by, and they were hanging out the car, screaming, yelling at me, and I remember being petrified.
That's-
And I just kept walking, and I got to my friend's house, and they left.
And they
But I
followed you
just
the whole
remember,
time?
yeah, they followed me the whole time. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That
I
is-
just remember thinking, oh my gosh, there's 3 or 4 of them,
Mhm.
but I was real young, like 11,
Oh.
which is
Oh my
why you never could walk down the street without me standing out in the street watching.
I have this could be a safety tip. Don't go to strangers' houses. The
Gosh.
face my mom just gave me because
I'm not
once
sure
again-
why we need to discuss that one. Go ahead.
Well, okay, he wasn't like a total stranger, but again, Kayla, we're giving a shout out. To put it in context, the night we met him, it was at the visitation fair, and he had this big old bandage on his arm. And like I asked, like, oh, what happened to your arm? He's like, my ex came at me with a knife. And I was like, okay, like that right there should have been some kind of indication of, hey, maybe this isn't the best guy to get involved with. But Kayla ended up dating him. And at one point, me and Kayla, this was like, I think around her birthday. And so me and her had went get sushi. And then he had this other friend named Moody. I don't know if that was his real name or not, but
Surely not.
she wanted to hang out with and I think I was the driver at that point. I don't think Kayla had her license yet. And so I drove us to Moody's house, and we go in and we're just like all hanging out. It was fine. And then at one point they're like, oh, y'all gotta get in the closet. And so they made Kayla and I get in the closet while they did a drug deal in the room. And so Kayla and I are like sitting in the closet being quiet. They're doing this drug deal. And then they all left. And they left us in the closet. And they like left the house. And me and Kayla are in there. We're like, how long do we stay in the closet? Like, what do we do? And so I don't remember how long we stayed in the closet, but it's for a while. And because we're just like, are they coming back? Like, did they really just like leave us here? And so we stayed in the closet for a while, and then we like finally were like, all right, like I guess they're not coming back. Like, let's go. And we're in high school. We're probably like 16 at this point.
I think this is going to be human trafficking in a few minutes.
Oh my gosh.
No, we leave, and this wasn't even Tori's house. This was Moody's house. But Kayla and I come out, and like we were in the bedroom closet, and Moody's like a whole family is in the living room, like probably like grandparents, aunts, uncles, I don't know. So they just like look at us coming out of this back room, and I had left my sushi in the fridge, and I wasn't leaving without it. So I like ran into the kitchen, grabbed my sushi out of the fridge, and then we're just like bye, and like left. And then we left. Like my car was outside in the front, but yeah, that I never told my mom that story.
I'm gonna have to talk to Kayla. She's gonna throw you into human trafficking eventually.
My heart's racing right now.
Wait, so did you ever see Moody again?
I didn't know. I think Kayla did.
That's scary. So
I
y'all
know.
didn't hear the family come into the living room and stuff?
Mm-mm.
Was it fun at the time or no? Not even at the time was it fun.
No. Being in the closet while a drug deal was going on.
The family didn't say anything to you?
No, they just kind of like looked at us like very confused. And I think Kayla might have like talked to them, but I was just like, let me get my sushi and get out.
You know, Kayla said something.
Yeah, Kayla would probably remember that. I was just so like, let me get out of this house. I'm telling you, all my sketchy.
Kayla Bell, I'm coming for you. So I don't think I've had any helpful hints for you.
You gave us a good one last time. Always lock the doors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always like apparently I gave her no helpful hints if she's hiding in the closet when the drug deal's going down.
The stranger's home. Oh my goodness.
Not my finest moment, but one of my favorite stories. Don't worry, I haven't been in any more closets.
Yeah, good.
Thank goodness.
Oh, going with the always locking doors. This nothing bad happened, but last Mardi Gras, I think it was last Mardi Gras. I was at my friend, and you know, Mardi Gras people are like walking around, you know, and this guy lives like kind of uptown near the parade route, and we like had the door open because we were like getting ready to leave to like go out to the parades, and there was probably like 5 or 6 people there, and I know the guy, but I don't know him super well. And so this other guy like walks into the house and is standing in the circle with us. And like, I'm assuming like, oh, this must be one of their friends. And like, they were also assuming like, oh, this, I guess this is like a mutual friend. And finally, the guy who owns the house like walks up to the circle and he's like, who are you? And it was a stranger. He was very drunk, but he had like just wandered into the house and was standing part of our circle, like kind of laughing along with us and just like smiling and nodding. And we're all just kind of assuming like, oh, I guess this is like someone's friend. It was no one's friend. He had just wandered into the house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, locked doors.
And so he just like kind of like ushered him out of the house and closed the door and locked it.
You know,
Well, I know y'all would all make fun of me locking the door because I'd check it several times because I always had so many other things on my mind. It's like I'd lock the door, but locking the door wasn't on my mind. It was like, I got to change the baby's diaper. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And by the time I walk away, I was like, did I check the door? I'd go back. I'd still have all that stuff on my mind. So I remember y'all making fun of me
Yeah.
about that a lot.
well, I have a safety story. It's related. It's not crime related, but it's related to safety. We were in Mississippi for a family reunion when I was about, I guess, 11 or 12 years old. And my mom went up. She got the hotel key first, and she was going to go up by herself. We must have been just down seeing the family or something. And she went up and she is like trying to get in the door, like sliding the key in the door, and it like won't. And she's like, why won't this work? And she's like, you know, trying to get in. And finally somebody opens and is like, can I help you? And it was this man. And she was like, oh, this is the wrong room. I'm so sorry. And so then she leaves, we find our right room, we all go and we change, and then we get in the elevator. And it was me, my mom, my dad, and my little cousin Trisha. She was like 1 at the time. And we get in the elevator and we hit the button and we start going down, and the elevator stops. Like it clearly stopped. And before anybody could think of anything, I remember it stopped, and I just like, this is all I had time to do was to look at the buttons to see, because like my gut reaction was just look at the buttons to see like, are they still lit up, or, you know, why did it stop? My mom just starts screaming, help us, please, we're stuck, somebody help. Like she screamed for like a minute straight, just screaming. Trisha is just looking up with her jaw dropped. And then after all that, she's literally screaming, the doors slowly open, and the man that she tried to break into his room is standing right there. and just looking at her.
True story.
So listen, she took her gut reaction there. Kind of like always don't, always just go with your gut. If you think it's a gunshot, it's probably a gunshot. She's like, this is broken. We're not gonna make it out. I'm screaming. They're gonna get us out of here.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
pretty fun.
It's
Charlotte,
embarrassing.
you have another hotel safety story that happened to you recently.
Oh my gosh, this is a scary story. This
Yeah.
is really scary. So I had to go to a conference in Portland in Maine. This was in Portland, Maine. Yeah. In Portland, Maine, and I was in Boston. And so I went up and I was gonna stay overnight in a hotel because the conference started like, I don't know, like at 7 a.m. or something. And so I'm like, I'll just, stay at a hotel. And it was a nice hotel. I think it was like a, Hyatt Garden or Hilton Garden or one of those. And I check in, I go up to my room and, I lock the door. It's such a good room. It's like a corner view, or it's a corner room. So it's like this cool view. And I'm like, I can't remember. I think I was like FaceTiming my mom and dad, showing them the room. And I'm like, okay, great. Like I'm going to like get settled in. And I go into the bathroom and I hear a knock and I'm like, who's knocking on my door? It's like 4:00. It's not room service or whatever, cleaning service. So I like tiptoe because it's like they keep knocking. And so I like tiptoe and I like look out the people and it's this man in a hoodie. And like I can't see his face. He like kind of has his hood. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like immediately shaking. And I just stood there and I stared through the people at him. Like I didn't move. I just stared. And then he eventually kind of like looked around and then he walked away. And so then I'm kind of like shaking and I'm like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And I look down. Or was I on the phone with one of you?
You were voice memoing me. I don't think we were on the phone.
When I discovered this thing?
Yeah.
I'm voice memoing Mindy and I'm like, oh my gosh, this man in a hoodie. I don't even know what to think. I'm trying to process it. And I look down and plugged into the wall is a taser. And I was like, why is there a taser just out? And it was like not covered, the like part that like shocks you. That's because at first I was like, that can't be a taser. I think I sent a photo to you, Mindy. You were like, that's definitely a taser.
Wait, that was in your hotel room or he left that out there on the door?
No, it was in my hotel room.
Plugged into the wall by the bed.
He had just knocked and then I discovered this and I was like, that is like so weird. And so I was like super freaked out and I didn't even want to like leave my room because I was like, is he waiting like around the, like, why was he even knocking? That's such a weird, thing. And then accompanied with the taser, I was just like so uncomfortable. So I called my mom wanted me to like call my friend to like come pick me up.
Irina.
And, like, all this, yeah, Irina. I don't think we mentioned her this podcast. Here we go.
There we go. We got her
like,
in.
call Irina, go. And I'm like, I'm not going to do all this. So I called the front desk and I told them. They were like very upset about it. They were very alarmed, which I was glad because I was like, is this making a big deal of this? And they were like, oh my gosh, we're going to get you a brand new room on a different floor, blah, blah. So I went down, they gave me a new room and everything was fine. And I slept great that night. I don't think my mom did, but, it was really scary because it was like, you hear stories about hotel room stuff. Like they sell gadgets and stuff to like properly lock the door because those doors are actually really easy for like a person to unlock from the outside. And I never had been scared of being in a hotel. I usually have felt safe because I'm like, oh, there's like lots of people here, whatever. And I was so afraid because I'm like, what? And it had been like pretty soon after I had got into my room that he knocked. So I almost felt like, did he follow me up here? I don't know, but it was very scary.
So wait, so now the hotel rooms come with a taser for their guests?
No, that's the point. I probably didn't make it better either because I was like, what if he like just needed you to open the door and he had planted the taser there? Yeah. He was just going to make his way into the room and then grab the taser.
And my dad said the same thing.
No, the taser was not supposed to be in there.
So who's
like maybe he put it in that room thinking he'd knock on the door and say, oh, I forgot my taser. Can I come get it? And then taser when he gets in and then carry her out or something.
Have the taser on him. Wouldn't he leave like his phone in the room or something?
Yeah. So the front desk didn't know nothing about a taser either.
They were upset.
If you're out there listening and would like to explain it to us, please write in.
Okay, I'm thinking the hotel offers tasers now. Okay.
It's right next to the Bible in the bookshop.
No, that's why it was so creepy because I was just like this, and it had no cover on it or anything. And Mindy and my dad made that comment, but like he probably was just waiting to get in, and then he was going to take that out the wall and get you with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, well, I'm going to go to another room.
So could you make out, like, could you have given a description or no?
No.
He was completely
His
covered. You
hoodie
could-
was like he had it kind of like that.
So you
And
couldn't tell if it
I
was
just
black or
stood there
white
and
or
I
nothing.
looked and I didn't breathe or anything. I just was like looking. And he eventually walked away. Because I was like, this is not really happening to me right now. I was
Yeah.
going to have a relaxing day, a relaxing night.
I
Yeah.
was thinking the same thing.
And then you slept good going to just another floor, another room.
Yeah, I slept
You
so
did.
good. Like I felt fine once I moved
They
to,
upgraded her. They gave her this beautiful rooftop room, and
with
it
a
was just beautiful.
balcony, with a
Oh.
beautiful ocean view. Like it was really nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen the girls on Instagram or whatever that show the ways to lock the door from the inside using the hangers and all of the
Yeah.
tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The problem with that though, okay, is then I like a month later I went to a conference in Portland, Oregon, and to prepare Nate bought one of these tools that you can buy to lock. They do the same thing kind of like that the hangers do, but you like put it on the lock and then like nobody can come in from the outside. It doesn't matter if they get it unlocked. And so I did it the first night. But then the next morning I couldn't get it off. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like sweating. And I was like, am I stuck in this room? And then I thought, what if there was a fire? And so then I didn't use it again because I was like, this is too stressful. I'd rather just lock the door.
Back
You're
to the
so
hangers.
tiny to be traveling by yourself.
I know. That's
No,
what I
don't
think.
tell people that. I'm very big.
You can't get me.
Can't. Come at me, try.
You're wiry. You're wiry, Charlie.
Well, shall we go into our final segment?
Yes.
All right. Denise is first this time.
When you're in a slump or having a bad day, what can you do to turn it around?
In a slump or having a bad day. You know what I find helps me the most? It's first of all, if I watch something funny on Instagram, it's always once I get on a roll of laughing, I laugh constantly. But if I don't have that, I find when I do something nice, and I know it's an old crappy thing to say or hear people say it, but when you do something nice for someone else, I don't care if it makes you feel better. I gave somebody a ride home one day, a ride that lives, a kind of homeless type person, but we know them. So I gave him a ride and that helped me. I know that's weird. And I always thought it was, hooey, but yeah. But either making something funny, something fun, you put it on Instagram and watch somebody fall, or put it on Instagram and watch something. Once you start laughing, then yeah. Or helping somebody, like anytime I get in slumps that last more than a day, say a week. Yeah, if I make something or give somebody, like I brought Miss Helen flowers or Miss Nancy flowers, and you do it anonymously and they don't know, yeah, makes you feel better. I know he can't, maybe he shouldn't do that. He's got a wife, but do something nice for somebody helps you. And it's true. It genuinely is true. That or watch something funny. Not a movie either, because it's too long. It's got to be something quick like Instagram or Facebook, those reels. Got to be something quick to make you laugh.
That was actually 1:30, and I let you go over because your last two were only 30 seconds. So I'm like, we got to make up for it a little bit.
Oh.
So that was really good.
That was good.
Okay, Mom, come back.
That was your best substantial answer, I would
I
say.
know.
Really?
Okay.
I thought the drinking
Wait.
was.
All right, you ready, Mom?
I'm ready.
When you're in a slump or having a bad day, what can you do to turn it around?
Well, a lot of times you just do what you know you need to do and you can pull yourself out of it. Like sometimes I like to make things and I feel like I don't know what to make or don't know, I don't have any ideas. But if I sit down and I kind of surround myself with my materials, I start getting creative again. So whatever it is, just kind of surround yourself with it. If you're feeling lonely, surround yourself with people. If you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, call somebody, look up somebody in your contact list, and then you'll start to feel like you're being productive again.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, she did it quick, huh? See,
You
I'm
did
used to
do
being
quick. I will say, Mama D said, she said, help somebody else, and you often makes
that's
her
good.
feel better. And I will
Yeah,
say, it doesn't
that's
sound
good.
hooey. That's actually the Dalai Lama says, if you want, to others to be happy, practice compassion, and if you want to be happy, practice compassion, because it's the same thing. And that's
Yeah.
like that's like a scientific thing, like something about, because like we're all connected, helping others. It really does make you happy because it makes you feel
That's true.
connected.
Very good.
And even if it's buying somebody, when my mama went to Sam's this last time, she bought a chicken. You know, the chickens at Sam's is only like $4.98, and it's a big old baked chicken. She bought a baked chicken for my brother, my sister, and my niece. And there is nothing like bringing people food. I swear. And even if they don't, I mean, I know how good they are. So it's like nothing can make you feel happier than bringing someone food. And like when I make a big thing of chicken noodle soup or whatever, I don't know, my mama's a freak. She only likes stuff that her hands make, but I'll make enough and I'll bring some to my brother or my sister, and it makes you feel good to give to some, and it don't always have to be food, like I said earlier with the flowers, but yeah, you know, you always think that's an old wives' tale, or, you know, but it's true. It really makes you feel better about, you know, it just lifts you up, makes you feel better doing something for someone else. You feel useful,
Yeah.
like you have purpose in the world.
Yeah, it's true. That's
I
good.
really thought she was gonna say, make a drink. Take
I
a drink.
thought
You're
so
you're in a
too.
slum. Take
No.
a
Take
shot.
a shot.
I
I
thought
I
she
was like,
was.
here we go.
I know I have to
Okay.
drink to go out in public, but not to do things, not to give, to, you know, do things, you know. And like that, the lady that I said that needed help on that, it was very uncomfortable for that. But, you know, I brought her to work with me, that she sat in that bridge all night with me. So
This goes good for the safety episode when she said, pick up a homeless person.
No,
give them a
but
ride.
I know her, but I know where she lives. You wouldn't believe, it was like I was on speed, or it was like a weird kind of high, knowing that I had helped someone in a terrible, you know, there was nothing she could do. There was just, you know, she had gotten in a fight with her daddy and kicked her out. And so for that night she was homeless and she wanted to go to Coffee Inn. She wanted me to bring her to Coffee Inn. I said, what are you going to do at Coffee Inn? And her cat had scratched up her face, so she was bleeding.
Oh my
So I
God.
said, what are you going to do at Coffee Inn? She goes, oh, they stay open 24 hours. Well, first of all, I didn't know that. I said, if you can walk upstairs, I said, you want to just come sit with me at the bridge? And that was the midnight to 8 shift. And she said, yeah, I can do that. And she don't know me either. And we didn't, I bring her to the bridge, and, you know, you got to walk up 92 stairs, and she has multiple clothes on and a bag and a satchel. And so she stayed at the bridge with me all night at 8 o'clock. And, you know, true, I'm praying for her and I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to do with her? I don't know. She can't come, you know, I don't want her to live in with me. You know, I live with my mom. And it ended up, so she's, you know, I had to go home and go to sleep. And she had me drop her off at the library. We went to Walmart first. I had to get her a shirt because she had blood on it. And I brought her she said, drop her off at the library, and she'd stay at the library and, you know, contemplate things and straighten herself up, and, you know. But anyway, I was on a high that week knowing that I had helped, you know, and that's why people do it, especially if you see, you know, that
Yeah.
wasn't tape. Was that tape too?
This is taped.
So yeah.
That's an extreme example. She
That-
didn't
that
even
is.
tell me that for like 3 weeks
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
Then
'cause
you
I-
told me.
You know why? Because you're not supposed to say what you do to reap your blessing. I want my blessings, you know, I want to be reaped at heaven. I don't want to, you know, here. But it's also like, I wouldn't want Mindy to do that. But it's like, because I don't feel like she knows people enough. I'm 6 feet tall. You know, I'm 200 pounds. I just feel like that, you know.
I am too. I am too.
I don't feel like, you know, and it was a woman. I don't feel like, you know, I didn't feel unsafe with her. You see, so, you know, but Mindy, I feel like I don't care if it's a toddler. I don't want my baby helping. And, you know, she's my baby. So, you know, but anyway, I didn't tell people right away because I also, you don't want to
Brag about it.
Yeah. You don't want the glory here. You want to be, you know, she dozed off, I think maybe once, but
I mean, it was midnight to 8 a.m.
yeah,
I know.
I felt bad for her because too, she couldn't leave. I said, once you go up there, you're going to be stuck up there with me.
Which
you know.
really is a red flag for her. Why did she? I mean, I'm gonna lock you in this tower with me for the next 8 hours.
You okay with 92 stairs? 92, exactly.
I said, you can make it up, because I didn't even think of that till we pulled up at the bridge. I said, you got to walk up 92 stairs. Can you walk up 92 stairs? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay.
What did we learn? Lock your doors.
Yes.
Always keep some false teeth and a wig in the car in case you gotta wear a disguise. And
Make sure you're not being followed. Pay attention.
yeah,
Pay
make sure you're
attention
not
to
being
your
followed.
surroundings.
Change up your path, your routine.
Mm-hmm.
Help others.
Yeah.
And help others.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not too much to the point that you put
No.
yourself in danger.
No, no.
Fine
And
line.
some people you can't help. They just,
They're helpless.
yeah.
All right. Well, be sure to follow us on Instagram at MKBSPod. And we also have a YouTube channel. If you didn't know, you can watch our episodes on YouTube. Mindy, what is our YouTube channel?
Our YouTube channel, I believe, it's the same as our Instagram. It's at MKBS Pod.
There you go. Like, follow, rate, and subscribe.
Please, please.
Ask some questions for the moms.
Bye.
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 I must have been loaded on crack somewhere.